Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. We have another viewer looking to consolidate his system, as he says. He's got a D3300 and a D7100, and he's looking to either step into a higher-end Nikon, or he's asking the question, is there something else he should look at? This is Toxic Tabasco, regular viewer. We hear a lot from Toxic. Thank you always for your feedback and comments, Toxic. He writes in, he says, Matt, I'm looking to consolidate my DSLR system. I use the D3300 for run and gun video, full HD, and 4K time-lapse, and a D7100 for panoramas, sports, events, time-lapse, and mostly landscape. I've considered replacing the D3300 with the D3400, but still no interval timer, and looks like they took away the connection to shutter cable, which was the only other way to shoot time-lapse and long exposure. Thus, a deal breaker for me. The D7500 would have been a great upgrade, but it's going to have the same sensor as the D500. Thus another deal breaker for me, as the low light performance is not much of a change from the D7100. Anyway, rather than tote two DSLRs when I go on hikes for landscape and time-lapse, I've considered getting a D5500. This would allow me to significantly lighten the load and allow me to bring along my LX100 to shoot time-lapse. At the same time, use the D5500 to shoot landscape shots, and when the night rolls in, I can switch the camera to use the D5500 to shoot the time-lapse and the LX100 to shoot panoramas. Another option I was considering was the D750 because of its low-light performance for galaxy long exposures. But my concern is the weight and cost. And I would only be using the D750's full potential about 10% of what I shoot, as the D5500 and LX100 can cover the 90%. Seeing as the only real low-light difference between the D750 and the D5500 is about 1.3 stops of light, and that difference can be made up with a very fast f1.8 lens versus using an f2.8. So what would you suggest, Matt? The D5500 to lighten the load, or the D750 for the extra 1/3 of a stop of low light ability? Or do you have another solution or options? Your insight will be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Well, thanks for your question, Toxic. First of all, D5500, I'm a big fan. I like that little camera. Definitely a good option to look at there. And I wouldn't have a problem with you going that route. The 750 is where it gets a little confusing, is the 750. I'm a big fan of it as well. However, if you're looking for something smaller and lighter for hikes and outdoors and whatnot, you know, as they always say, the best camera is the one you take with you. Is the 750 going to be too heavy, too large, too bulky, and you're going to find yourself not taking it along because of that? If that's the case, then I wouldn't even look at the 750 for that very reason. If you don't think so, if you think you still don't mind, then definitely consider it. I don't know. I mean, that's a personal decision. It is so very close, especially if you're not needing it for the high ISO abilities or things like that. You can get a lot more bang for your buck out of a 5500 at the price than you can at a 750. What pops to my mind and what I would suggest you look at, and it's just an option because you asked about options, is I would very seriously look at this little guy. I am loving this, the Fuji X-T20. So you've got all the goodness basically of an X-T2 in here, and it's at a much reduced price. I've also, if you can see here, I've got the brand new Fuji 50mm f2, which is a beautiful little lens on here. So look how small and light that is. I mean, this is a much smaller package than you're going to get even with the 5500. So, and then it has some advantages because it does have the movable screen, not the full vari-angle of the 5500, but does have a movable screen. But we've got the 4K ability in here, which I think is huge. So you got a smaller, lighter camera. You got an amazing image sensor in here, 24 megapixels with an incredible IQ, very good low light as well. So smaller, lighter, great image quality, and 4K. That's why I would suggest you look at this, because with the advent of the X-T20, the price to get into the top-end features of the Fuji X system has dropped very, very much, in the sense of this is far less than half, I think, of the cost of, I'll put a link below, you can check the current price, but less than half, I believe, anyways, of the X-T2. So this is my favorite Fuji of all time so far. I really love this little camera. So I would really suggest taking a look into this. See if the X-T20 can tick off all your bases, and then you can consolidate over to Fuji with their amazing lenses, and it's smaller and lighter for your traveling and your hiking, and when you're backpacking and traveling. To me, that's why Fuji is so great. It's one of its strengths. I also think that it just looks really cool. The retro looks is a beautiful little camera. So that's what I would suggest. Check it out. Maybe if you can get into your local camera store, check it out, get your hands on it, do some test shots, maybe look at some footage and some shots online, see if it's in line with what would work for you, and then make your decision. But what do you guys think? Do you think the X-T20 is a good option for Toxic? Do you think he should go with the 5500? Do you think he should step up to the 750? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think and why. Let me know if there's another option that I haven't considered or Toxic hasn't considered that you think he should look at. Leave in the comments below. Let's discuss it. Let's help out Toxic. Thanks for your question, Toxic, and stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.